Welcome, Sebastian Kierysch, a senior executive as a German working in China for over 15 years. Thank you, Sebastian, for being part of the show for today.
Hey, Stefan, hi. Nice to have you also here in China on my screen, and welcome to the International Mindset podcast for today, I would like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is our topic. What can we learn from China in these days in the automotive market? And you have been dealt with so many issues in that country. You faced so many topics, and you came out always one level above. So let's talk about what is the biggest event, the biggest issue you ever had, and how did you turn it from uncertainty into an opportunity?
Yes, Stefan, I think this is exactly the right word, the uncertainty. Because as you know, and the automotive market, not only in China but also in Germany and the world, is at the moment on the edge of survive or die. So this is basically what you heard about China. It's true. It's a bloody red ocean here, and it's only going over price reductions to sell your cars. So we as a or me, let me say about me as a OEM before 24 years in the OEM side, and then I moved the past 7 years to the tier one side of the business. I have to say the uncertainty at these times now is probably the most big challenge we had in the complete industry since beginning of the industry. We know the Lehman Brothers crisis and 2008-9,
Yeah.
then the automotive crisis 2015, COVID 21 or 1921, right? So a lot of crisis, but nothing is compared to this crisis now. So, and out of my experience with the most difficult situations we are facing. So we had a major injuries or major incident in our one of our plants here in China. I have five plants. One big incident happens that stopped our production completely, but we never stopped the customer. Also, only 1 minute. So we continuously delivered to our customers.
So
Um,
what okay, we are in this uncertain, complex
hmm,
environment. It's automotive, it's brutal right now.
yeah.
Probably the industry that has to transform the most in any industry right now. So, what was your approach as being like born German, but with an international
Yes.
mindset and living in China for 16 years? Can you describe in detail so we understand there is maybe an opportunity?
Yeah. So like you said, many people think this is very risky and very danger, and the situation is not to handle. Many people get confused or even fear, anxious about that. But I see it from another point of view because as you as a coach knows that sometimes it helps to step back from your own position to
Absolutely.
see the current situation from another point of view. So
Mhm.
I see also opportunities inside the current situation we are in. So, but how how we do it, you can name it restructuring probably, right? So I come into the company with a very low performing operations, cultural differences between German is a German company and Chinese employees and leadership.
Yeah.
There was more or less a chaos as well, if you can describe it like that. And um, there was also the global clarification and certifications not in place. So how we did it, and it was very easy from now to see backwards, but at that
Yeah.
moment it's difficult. So
Absolutely.
we put lean systems in place, legacy habits. We or I tried to give my team clarity even in the chaos situation. Sometimes, and this is maybe what we German are very proud of and very good in, we need to make it exactly right. It must be like this. We need to follow the process. 5 minutes earlier in the meeting, and everything must be point, point, point. But sorry, this is not what we need in this kind of situation we are in at the moment. We need, even though we have only maybe 80%, only 70% of clarity, we need to make decisions. So we do the decisions, and I communicate my decision to my people, to my team. For sure, I have some casualties on the way, means some people don't accept. So, okay, I let them free, but then new people come, right? So, and go the way with us. So very good. And this is the topic of why I'm here, why we are here. We have a bigger vision. We want to have trust, and also the transparency from top to down, or not only top down by execution. You need to do that.
Fully agree. Now let's go more in detail about the vision and the way you communicate in a Chinese environment.
Well, Stefan, this is basically, I think everybody can learn that, but you have to have an open mind. So how I did was, first of all, if you don't speak the language, you will have a problem to approach the people. So I'm not fluent in Chinese, by far not, but it's enough to communicate. And if the people, so the Chinese colleagues, and in my company, we have 1,700 people, 5 foreigners, including 2 top management and 2 directors and one expert. So that's all. So, and we have to bring German product quality, German mindset into this community and make a fusion out of it. And you need the entrance point, and this is the language. So if you try to speak with your limited language skills, the mother tongue of the people you are dealing with, and I would like to exclude China now. I would like to say it's the complete world. It's everywhere. If you're in India, if you're in Thailand, if you are in America, okay, for us more easy because it's English, right?
Yes.
But if you go to Romania or something like this, if you try to learn their mother language, then you can also approach these people better. And for the vision, it's about be clear what is the company standing for? What are you standing for as a leader? I would like to say, I'm a leader. I'm not the manager. For sure, I'm sometimes the manager because I need to make the decision. But I am more a coaching approached leader. So I try to generate follower.
Yeah, our stereotype about Chinese is from the past. You know, it's like you have to tell them everything, and then they are like robots and do what. No, I don't think that's true any longer. What is the mindset you have to deal with, and how can you kind of combine the German mindset with the Chinese mindset?
So if you said a very interesting point, the stereotype of the Chinese people, right? And the Chinese has the stereotype of the Germans, for sure. So there's Weißwurst and beer.
Weißwurst and Lederhosen.
Yes, so this is the typical German stereotype for Chinese people. So as it's not true for every German, for some it's still valid. So also the Chinese top-down approach, so they are very hierarchy hearing. It's still in place for some people, but there are also some individuals that are not in this way. So for example, I have great leaders in my team who really worked with the German companies over a decade or 2 decades already. So they decide to come to Monta because they would like to come to us to work with me together as their leader. They are not coming because our name. They are not coming because we have a good product. They are coming because they feel treasured and they can develop their own mindset. So, and for this, you need the vision on how your way looks like, the why.
Is that the young generation of the Chinese, or is it even true for the older generation, opening for that approach for being treasured and?
This is a very tricky question because it's not the young and not the old. It's the middle generation. It's the generation that are born, let me say, around 1985.
Yes.
This generation is still in this Chairman Mao's
Yeah.
mindset, but with the opening of China and then the blooming in the 90s and early 2000s, they have the international mindset. So they are the people who are the broader mind. The
Okay.
old generation, they are hierarchy, and the
Yes.
younger generation nowadays,
Uh-huh.
they are also, if I go to the shop floor and there's just a 21, 22-year-old student start work, yeah, they're both in front of you. I say, hey, 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 come on. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
boss here, but you
Yeah.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see. Very good
Uh-huh.
question, by the way.
Now, what are the three core factors of the Chinese workplace? What is the approach that, we believe it's pragmatic and it's fast and it's a growth mindset. But what do you think? What are those three core elements that we could now focus on to explore more in depth?
First of all, the most important thing for sure is their salary. I mean, this is clear. This is why we also go to work. But also the same amount of level is the sounds stupid, but it's the food. So in Chinese companies in China, you usually offer free meals
Mhm.
for the people. So they get the lunch, they get the breakfast, they get the dinner, maybe a midnight snack, about depend on when they are working.
Yes.
So and then they are very, in Germany we say fleißig. They are very engaged in this what they are doing. Yeah? So you will seldom find someone who stops 9 to 5. And this is what you know in Europe from all this newspaper. It's 996, yeah, this
Mhm.
9 hours
Mhm.
from 9 to 9, and then
Mhm.
12 hours from 9 to 9, and then 6 days.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's even 7 days. And from my own experience, when we had this incident in one of our plants in late or early August last year, until early October, so probably 4 months. I worked 100 hours the week plus, sleep
100
only two,
hours
three.
per week.
Yeah,
That
because
that's kind of a commitment. That's crazy.
yes, but this is also what my people are doing. This is I am a role master for them, yeah, the role model.
Mhm.
So if the boss is staying in the company, yeah, and work with them hand in hand to solve the problems,
Mhm.
they are also even more engaged. And this is probably also from this hierarchies thinking. Some
That
people
re
not leave before you leave. Yeah.
that
So
reminds me of the early days of the now crazy guy from California when he launched Tesla 3 and he was in production hell. He slept on the shop floor for 3 hours every day. So it's
yes. So this was the first 2 weeks after the incident that happens. Yes.
Mhm.
And actually, my wife come to visit me, and not I go back home to visit her. So I mean, this is also a commitment of the family, and this is the
Yeah.
third point I would like to mention to regard to your question. The family is also very important.
Mhm.
Even though the young Chinese people, they don't have family, right? So they are earning the money to build a family.
Mhm.
But the people, like I mentioned, this 80, 85 born ages, they have a family and everything like this. And very seldom the family give them stress if they work overtime or something like this.
Ah, okay. I understand. Now it's like it's almost like if you understand well the environment you're in, you adapt that environment, so they don't have to change culturally, they feel welcome, they feel well, and they feel checked,
Yes,
as you say, which is
and
great.
yes, understand.
Yeah, just under that, yeah. You're not in Germany, you're in China. I think that's obvious. Now, how come that in the automotive industry in China, now, by the way, BYD is now listed number
Mm,
6 on the world ranking as a car
yeah.
manufacturer, so not far behind Toyota and Volkswagen anymore. But how come that they are able to have development cycles down from 36 to 24 and even maybe 12 months? How can they,
Yeah.
I think you described, while we build one airport in Berlin, they build 80. Uh,
Yeah.
what makes them, fast, pragmatic,
Yeah.
engaged, and
Yes.
execution strong? What is it?
Yes. So out of my work experience with the Chinese OEMs here, but by the way, now Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, Daimler Truck is also in China. They changed their mindset from this traditional German kind
Mhm,
of stuff, building around the car to
mhm,
try to merge to the, and the EV is very strong in China,
mhm,
to the EV things. Well, when in China they are building the vehicle around the system. I mean, they have the platform and then they're building around. So you mentioned BYD, right?
yes.
So if you sit in the BYD, it's like you sit in the VW. If you sit in Golf or you sit in the Passat or you sit in the Touareg, everything is in the same place. The buttons, okay, it's sometimes a little bit wider, a little bit taller, depend on the interior you buy. You have different displays or whatever, but actually okay, I'm in a VW, so they are doing the same stuff, but they're building around the system. You mentioned also the airport, so it's all about scale. The matter is scale in China. So in Germany, if we buy two airports, they are looking completely different because two
Mhm,
completely different global general contractor will build this kind of stuff, right? Two design institutes will make the
mhm,
fancy stuff. In China, it's basically more or less all the same, and only the cover is different. So it
mhm,
means they can scale very easy. Sometimes in China, it takes a long time to make a decision. This is similar to us,
mhm.
but if it's made, then it's executed in light speed. This is what you see on these fancy TikTok videos when they build a bridge over a weekend, right? In
Mhm,
Beijing or where it was,
mhm,
or we talked about COVID before. So
mhm.
the hospitals, yeah. So over 7 days they built a 1,000 bed hospital.
So, I mean, let's be honest. Even if BMW, Mercedes, Audi now changes his brand and try to become like Chinese,
Mm.
we can never become like Chinese because our cost of manufacturing a car is just so much higher. Uh,
Yes,
and,
yes,
and, and
yes.
and now when they turn, when they design a car based on a software and put some wheels around and are fast executors and scale, this is typically what you think about Americans. So So, what is our opportunity in Germany? Uh, and I'm saying, we have the brightest minds on engineering still, I'm sure, at
Yes,
BMW.
still.
Still the
Yes,
brightest minds, but it looks like that we need a slightly different mindset, a different approach,
yes,
and the one that is
yes.
not becoming Chinese, but what is
No,
your experience?
no.
What was it? Is it the combination? What do we need to learn from them? And how do we
Yes,
to really leverage our strength?
yes. So the thing is, I was pleased and very, very honored to meet Rudolf Scharping like
Mhm.
5, 6 weeks ago here in Shanghai.
Oh,
And we had
still
a
on the
meeting
road.
with him. And,
He's still
pardon?
on the road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a consulting company. He's
Ah,
around. So,
okay.
um, and we have the same topic. We had the same topic.
Mhm.
So how we can make Germany or the German products or the German companies great again.
Mhm.
Sounds very fashioned because this guy with fancy hairstyle there from America say the same thing about his country. But um, he said, and this is really, and I think this hits the nail on the head. In Germany, we have the great mind and still the best ground engineering and scientists for a lot of things, from automotive, medicine, everything.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
But the execution is the problem. And he said, and I quote him, less talking, more doing. So this is what we are doing in China here. So we are eager, and like I said in the beginning, if we only know 50, 60% of the whole picture, but it's necessary to make a decision because out of urgency, because we cannot wait, we do a decision instead of wait maybe 4, 5, 6 hours or one day to get to 80, 90%.
So,
So
yeah, highly interesting. Now, I figure myself being in your team, we here in a
yeah,
risky environment, uncertain environment, we have a lot of pressure on cost or development times. And now I'm used as a German engineer, I'm used to CC my boss and his boss and get a response or if I can do this or whatever. I'm sorry for stereotyping, maybe different in times. I heard about this in
yeah.
some companies in Germany. So are they how can how can they dare to be more entrepreneurial? Is it in their gene? Is it a mindset? Or is it an allowance or an empowerment from leadership?
Well, this is first of all for the small decisions. This is empowerment for the daily running the business to ensure the production. For
Mhm,
the big topics like this incident, right? There's no way around. This need to go to us, yeah, to the C level.
mhm.
Otherwise, the complete company is on risk. So you need to find in China the right people for the right job. This is first and most important. And then you need to empower them. But this
So,
100 plus hours per week
yeah,
is not coming because they cannot make a decision, right? So,
sure.
or I don't empower them.
Absolutely. I mean, Sebastian, but these are the same concepts senior executives know in Germany. So why is there still a difference in execution or in speed or in being pragmatic? What does it need to adapt?
For us Germans
Yeah, I mean,
or in general.
no, I mean, we're in the European environment here. Yeah, I'm a German
Yeah,
executive coach.
yes.
Of course,
Let, let, let me phrase a question to you. Are you getting nervous, angry if your counterpart is 10, 15 minutes late to a meeting?
probably. At least I'm questioning what happened. But there
So,
would be a sense of irritation in the room.
so do I 15 years ago or 16 years ago. Now I don't really care because I know they will come. I know they have something to do. And if they not come, I will call them and then they will come. Or they say, okay. So it's a kind of also a flexibility from our side. And this is the building the bridges between the two cultures because this is very, very different. Yeah. So if I say I will come soon, means in China a completely different thing like in German, for example, right? So we can put the time behind it, but here it's different. But back to the question of the for the German OEMs, right?
Mhm.
They should not change the let me say the spine, the ground where they're coming from. Because if you drive a BYD or if you drive an Audi,
Mhm.
even though the price and Audi is also under high pressure, so they need to reduce the prices here.
Mhm.
But if you drive these cars, you feel obviously different, right? So, but is this the question for the young generation who is buying now a car? No. For them, is the interconnection, the connectivity, the
Mhm.
most important thing.
Mhm.
It's not so much the experience of driving from the road feeling, from the noises of the vehicle. It's more the connectivity.
Mhm. I mean, if I put myself into the position of BMW, for instance, um, I have the brightest engineers on this planet. I know how to build a car. Uh, we have a fantastic product, but we can sell it at the price we still sell in Europe. Now,
Yes.
would working more hours do, or I mean, the solution seems like, yeah, we have to become faster at less cost and turn more towards the interconnectivity of cars and build and create values and services around this. I mean, in the last part,
Yeah.
we could probably, you know, achieve, but I don't see from, or maybe from your experience, I mean, you are under that pressure, your headquarters in Germany is under tremendous pressure. You have to deliver in China to OEMs that come from Europe or Germany. Where does it lead towards? Where can you see from your experience a way forward?
If we talk about BMW, VW, Audi, it's all, but no, Mercedes, the traditional OEMs, they had great times in China. So why? Because they are premium for the Chinese. So the people who have money at 10 years ago, they
Mhm,
buy this kind of brands.
mhm,
As more expensive, as better. But who bought a BYD at that time was the farmer from the countryside that don't have so much money. And this was also the quality level. So BYD learned a lot, a lot. And you can see this on the vehicles, and you can see on YouTube a lot of videos about the tests.
mhm,
So
mhm.
they did a great job partially. So what is for the German OEMs maybe most important is stop this over engineering, because a lot of things that is inside the vehicle nobody needs. For example, automatic speed control. Yes, okay. It's in nearly all cars in China, but I very seldom see someone who use it. Air conditioning will be turned off and open the window. I mean, air conditioning is very important. Yeah, don't take it away. But Spaltmaße, so the distance between the two parts on the car, it's not really matter if you have a 3 millimeter or 2.5 millimeter. Yeah? Nobody really cares in China for that. But these are all these kind of hidden costs that increases the prices. Plus, I talk now about my OEM experience, overestimated and over also kind of engineered test cycles. Who need 150,000 kilometer test in China when the most of the people never will drive their car for 50,000 kilometers, right? So, I mean, yes, then this is also the difference to Tesla and to the other the BYDs and
Mhm.
Neos, and it's also very famous in Europe. They not really care too much for these long-term road tests, right? By the way, Neo is more like Audi, so they are on the higher price end,
Mhm.
and you feel it directly on the vehicle. When a BYD is still the low-cost one, and as we discussed before, they are also running now into trouble because they have a reduction in their volumes at the moment to face. So
Mhm.
they stopped one shift in several plants and they stopped the investment into the future. So also the reality is coming to them now.
Absolutely. Um, Now to kind of start finishing our podcast, what are the three key questions about leadership uh, we should executives everywhere, but particularly also in Europe, with business in China?
Mm.
What are the three core questions now they need to ask to to thrive in uncertainty in this environment?
I would like to turn it in from a question to messages, if you allow. So I would
Hey.
like to say, I would like because I think well, you can ask questions, but this is the coaching approach. I would like to be more advisory now for the people who are listening and interesting in these topics.
Yeah, you're an
First of
expert,
all,
so you can advise.
yeah, well, you should challenge the status quo because this is what I do every day. Is this what we are doing today, right? So, and not stick, for sure, you have a plan somehow, but is the plan valid? So, challenge every day the status quo and this relentlessly about the circumstances.
Now, may I just jump right into because
Yeah.
challenging the status quo, I probably need more detail because my experience,
Yes.
they have controlling everywhere. They have KPIs everywhere. So they are controlling,
Yes.
they are over control, I believe. So they probably think
Yes.
we challenge ourselves every day, every single day on cost, on quality, on delivery. So what does this guy mean? What is this?
What,
What
what,
part needs to be challenged?
well, we Germans say, and this was my experience when I go back to Germany several years ago for a very short period. The people say to me, why I should change? I do this 15 years and I was very successful
Hmm.
and I'm still am.
Hmm.
So then I ask one very simple question, and most of the people cannot answer. And this was, yes, you did 15 years great, but who tells you that you did the best? Who say that there is no other solution to the problem? Why you think you should not change what
Hmm.
you are doing for the past 15 years? Maybe it was not 100% correct.
Hmm. So, okay, I see two elements. One is focusing on could have done better, which is
Yeah,
past focused. But the second element is more interesting to me, at least. It's like, is the way I achieved what I achieved is going to bring me up to be the better, the best version in the next 15 years. So this is
exactly.
challenging the mindset. It's not about I've done this,
Yes.
we've done this, we were successful. Some of my clients, a chairman once said, Stefan, the biggest trap is success because you get fat.
Exactly.
People say, "Yeah, I was
Yes.
for what you want." So it's Jeff Bezos calls it in Amazon. Always have a first day approach, yeah, day one approach. Be always like
Kind of, yes.
started new. So it's like what I hear is like be willing to learn, be willing to check if what you're doing is still relevant in the new setting.
Yes, exactly. And also, if we come back to this mindset change, I think in this, I mean, you can change a program in the machine. You can change the design of the part. You
Mhm.
can even change how you build the car, right? The system around the car, or into the car, or the car around the system.
Mhm.
But what the biggest challenge is really the mindset change. And I said this to my board nearly 1 year ago. I tell them we are focusing a mindset change. And this mindset change is not a 100-meter sprint. It's more a triple Ironman.
Mm.
And I
Absolutely.
think this
Yeah.
is
And
very, very on point here.
I think, this is the core issue now. How can we transform? Um, and now, from your experience being in that environment, how do you lead in these transformational times? How can you help people? Because once you ask them, can you do, you have to mirror yourself, your approach to what, if it's going to be relevant in 5 or 10 or 15 years. And most people I know, they step out of the comfort zone, they start learning, sometimes the anxiety zone. So they getting anxious a little bit. So what is your approach about helping build a good environment for people to want to change, maybe?
Yes, so first of all, we all face this kind of uncertainties. And also, for sure, I'm a human, right? I'm also facing anxious about situations of fear,
Mhm.
of stress. But if I try to bring out clarity in this moment, that is really focusing on this issue at this moment, and I translate this to the language to the people who are involved, they maybe don't see the whole picture,
Mhm.
but I bring the clarity for their field of this, what they have to do, and offering my help.
Ah,
So I never feel stressed out. I never feel burnout. By the way, burnout in China is not available, yeah, by default.
funny.
So, first of all, cle create the clarity that they
What
can
is
work, that they
okay?
feel.
What kind of clarity? Can we be more precise? Like, give an example.
Okay, we are now, like you mentioned, in the restructuring phase.
Mhm.
So I get one project management office position for this to control and lead the project
Mhm.
over the next 3 years. And we research inside our company, but they're all are busy, as you can imagine, because
Sure.
I just bring up the complete new team there, combined from old and new peoples.
Yeah.
So they are busy with themselves at the
Yeah.
moment. So I decide I will get a fresh master student just graduate 2 weeks ago for this position, and she is a woman. She says, I don't know if I can do that. I say, no worries. I believe from your CV, from your
Mhm.
experience on university, and also some job experience already, you can do that. And these are the steps. I will guide you. I will stay next to you. Then she asked me about, but why you are not doing this by yourself?
Mhm.
So,
Good question,
because
by
my
the
time
way.
is also limited, right? Yeah. So, but my time is limited. I need to look for strategy topics. I have 5 plans, right?
Yeah.
So I need really balance my time that is also like yours, 24 hours a day. Yeah? So to show her, okay, this is the way to create the templates, talk with the consulting company, to make very clear what we expect, and also make very clear to her, you can call 24/7 if you have a problem. I'm here, I'm the steering committee. I will help you to make it. And if somebody is not performing, because as a project manager, for sure, you don't have power. You are the tiger without teeth. So
Sure.
this means you need to motivate the people to do something. And for sure, you can borrow my power, but this should be the last step. So, but you
Yeah.
can ask me as your coach. And so this I do with all my people in on the shop floor.
So they are free to go straight to you to ask for help?
Yes, everyone, even the cleaning stuff or the worker on the shop floor. So if you are talking about leadership, because leadership espresso, when we started last year, July, no, May, I started in May. Oh God, time flies. Um, I established a so-called lunch with the leaders.
Mhm.
So in this lunch, when I visit all the plants,
Mhm.
the supervisor, engineer level, and also some employee
Mhm.
who are willing
Mhm.
are invited to have lunch with me and my leadership team. So my other two C-level, I mean, yeah, not their manager.
Mhm.
They are excluded. So the management of the plant is excluded from this lunch. So I take 1 hour.
Whoa.
You know where it goes, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
take 1 hour
yeah. Uh-huh.
only for them to have a lunch with them. And we are not taking the canteen food. We are ordering from outside. Sometimes it's pizza, sometimes it's Korean rice,
So
spaghetti,
how big is
steaks,
the
or
group
whatever,
for
right?
that lunch? Like 5, 10,
It's
20?
depend on this. It depend on the size of the plant, right? So let's say in average, it's about 10 to 20 people.
Mhm. Mhm. And how do they
So and
use
then we sit
it?
together.
Yeah, how do they use this format? Are they approaching you, say, hi, Sebastian, I have a problem here and there. Can you help? Or how does it work?
And you see now the circle is closing slowly because in the beginning you asked me,
Mhm,
or in the middle is three
mhm.
major topics in
Yes,
China. What's
yes,
for the environment, and this is
yes.
food. So for sure, in the first one, two times when we started in each plant,
Mhm,
it was a little bit shaky because,
mhm.
oh, the big boss come now and have lunch with me, and I
Yeah,
need to talk with him. I cannot
yes,
speak English, right?
yes.
So um, but this was very interesting to see because then I start in my Chinese to talk with them, and then somebody speak up. I can translate. May I, boss? I say, oh, for sure. Let's help. Let's work together, right? To be approachable. And the first two times was not much communication for sure. Environmental topics, yeah. The food can be better. The toilet cleanness could be better. So basically, what you have if you have a big plant of 400, 500 people. But interesting is you see the change, and now they are actually waiting for this lunch with the leaders. So, and they even come up two times. So before I go to my maturity leave,
Mhm, mhm,
um,
mhm.
they come up and say, Sebastian, I would like to have a different food because every time the same. I say, well, I don't recognize it. Thank you very much. Let's order some different things. Yeah. So we make a small questionnaire, what you like, bum, 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 bum. Okay, pizza. Okay, we order a lot of Italian food and a lot of well, some spaghetti and and then we have a very good conversation by lunch,
Mhm.
but not very official with an
Yeah,
agenda,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
now maintenance. Yeah. And
yeah.
sometimes you need to talk first. I use this also as a kind of a mini town hall meeting to
Mhm.
inform them what's happening in the company, what's happening in our
Okay.
other facility that is 2000 kilometers far away, maybe. Right. So I also utilize this kind of events to share them what's happening in one. I don't want to say in our company, and
So, Sebastian,
yes,
I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but to finish and to close, and what I learned from our conversation, it is not that much about the overall strategy, maybe about the differences and commonalities of Germans and Chinese. But I learned from your approach, from your experience, being in both markets, in both cultures, being there for 16 or even more years, it's you can put your heart to the products, but you can also put your heart to the people. And that's maybe a common language everybody understands. And it feels like you are creating a safe place where people want to belong, want to add whatever their strength is. And it's more a question about mindset, it's more a question about leadership. It's more, releasing all the potential from that people. And this is to me my the essence that I get from our conversation, which gives me kind of
yeah,
not hope, but which gives me an opening, a gateway to come up with great solutions in leadership that will help everybody bring out his best and enjoy it. That's even better. If you're working 50,
yes,
60 or more hours, you at least what you want to enjoy this and not feel
yes,
threatened or
yes,
whatever. So
yes.
anything to add from your side that is not yet put into the right light or focus?
Yeah. So you said it very, very correct. What's a company? And this is also one of the workshops I hold in my with my teams because I'm also giving workshops and
Mhm.
some mentorings to the people. What is a company? Is the building the company, the machines, or the products? And it's very surprisingly, very few people say no. Actually, the people is the company.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
and I think this should be the thing, and the future is not belong to the guys who make everything cautiously and very accurate over engineering,
Mhm.
but also, and I think almost, and I mean, you mentioned this crazy guy in America who sleep on the floor. Um, I think he did it just weeks ago again, right? Um,
Probably.
it's about to be bold enough
Mhm.
to make a decision and go ahead, because if you make a decision, you make maybe a mistake,
Mhm.
but make if you don't make a decision, you already did the mistake.
Mhm. Fantastic conversations, lots of insights. I'd like to carry this one on maybe in a year's time to find out what's more to learn about it. For the time being, thank you, Sebastian, for being on the show and wishing you always good
Yes.
travels, safe travels in your ventures.
Thank you, Stefan. Yes, and hopefully we can meet us very soon in München or somewhere around there.
Absolutely, anytime, 24/7.
Okay, let's see what's my schedule telling us.
Okay, bye.